Gone from 30,000, I guarantee you we're going to have 1 million people in our capital city. Imagine where we go in another 12 months. Yeah? The country's awake, wide awake. We need you there.
Live Outburst. Tommy Robinson challenges Sadiq Khan in front of everyone. You're not going to believe this one. It happened live, in front of cameras, in front of officials, and in front of the public. The kind of moment you don't plan, you don't expect, but once it unfolds, you realize you've just witnessed something that will dominate headlines for days. Sadiq Khan, London's mayor. Tommy Robinson, the firebrand who thrives on confrontation. Both of them in the same room, and then the outburst. People are calling it one of the most explosive live challenges in recent memory. And the truth is, they're not exaggerating. So here's the scene. The London Assembly was already buzzing. Questions were flying toward Khan, issues about safety, transport, the rising cost of living. The room was tense, but manageable. Then suddenly, Robinson stepped in with a challenge that cut straight through the usual political tone. No careful wording. No soft preamble. He went straight at the mayor, questioning his leadership in a way that was raw, direct, and impossible to ignore. The room froze. Some assembly members gasped. Others shouted back. But the cameras caught everything. This wasn't politics as usual. It was theater, it was confrontation, and it was the kind of moment that instantly goes viral. Khan's reaction. Visibly shaken, though he tried to hold the line. He insisted that leadership requires calm, focus, and accountability, not what he described as disruption for headlines. But even as he spoke, the noise of the outburst was echoing louder than his words. You could see it in real time, the mayor struggling to regain control of the narrative while Robinson had already made his point. And that's what makes this moment so powerful. It wasn't about policy details. It was about perception. About who looked in control and who didn't. Now, let's step back. Why does this matter so much? Because politics is about more than governing, it's about image. Khan, for years, has built his reputation on being steady, progressive, and polished. Robinson, whether you like him or not, positions himself as the voice of the angry and unheard. When those two personas collided live on camera, it was more than just a clash of individuals, it was a clash of identities. Of establishment versus outsider. Of diplomacy versus disruption. And that's why the public can't stop talking about it. Social media lit up instantly. One viewer posted, "Say what you want, but Robinson just said what millions are thinking." Another fired back, "This is embarrassing, politics is not a shouting contest. London deserves better." And then came the memes, the clips, the slow-motion edits of Khan's reaction. In a digital world where moments get chopped down to 15-second reels, this one was tailor-made to spread like wildfire. But the story doesn't end with social media chatter. Insiders are weighing in too. One senior assembly member told a local outlet, "This was chaotic, but we can't ignore it." Khan looked cornered, and perception matters. Meanwhile, a commentator on the right framed it this way, "This shows how weak the establishment has become. The minute someone challenges them directly, they scramble." And on the left, the pushback was swift. "This is reckless. Leaders should be held accountable. Yes, but this kind of stunt risks undermining the very institutions that keep our democracy stable." See what's happening here? It's not just about the exchange itself, it's about how different groups are weaponizing the moment to fit their narrative. And here's the kicker, the timing couldn't be worse for Khan. London is facing rising pressure, knife crime, transport strikes, housing struggles, and an increasingly frustrated public. With elections looming on the horizon, every slip, every viral clip, every headline counts. Robinson understands that. He doesn't need a seat in the assembly to make an impact. All he needs is a microphone, a camera, and a dramatic moment. And that's exactly what he delivered. The question is, will Khan's polished speeches outweigh the raw intensity of Robinson's challenge? Or will voters remember the clip, the confrontation, the moment of visible frustration from their mayor? This isn't the first time politics has turned into a stage. Think back from U.S. Congress outbursts to South African parliamentary walkouts, we've seen it time and time again. Theatrics, disruptions, and live showdowns are becoming a staple of modern politics. Because let's face it, in an era where attention is everything, substance often takes a back seat to spectacle. And that's what happened here. Robinson didn't just confront Khan. He turned him into the backdrop of a viral story. So, what happens next? If you're Khan, you double down. You try to pivot the narrative back to policy, back to stability, back to the issues. You hope the storm passes. If you're Robinson, you amplify. You make sure the clip circulates. You frame it as proof that the establishment can't handle being challenged. And for the public, they're left asking the bigger question. Is this really about one outburst, or is this a sign of the deep, growing frustration with politics as usual? Because here's the reality, sometimes it's not the policy debates that stick in people's minds. It's the unscripted, unplanned, emotional moments. And this one, it's already etched into the headlines. So as we wrap this up, remember, this wasn't just a clash in a chamber. It was a reflection of a much bigger divide in Britain today. One leader holding the microphone of authority. One challenger grabbing the microphone of defiance. And millions watching, sharing, reacting, and debating what it all means. And the question now is simple: if this is only the beginning, how much louder, sharper, and more unpredictable will the next showdown be? Because in today's politics, one outburst can change everything.